Hi, happy Sunday. I'm just gonna have a quick chat. The kid's dad's having him for a little bit longer today, so it's like a super nice little mini break for me. And I'm really grateful. And when I start to miss the kids, just the gratitude and the love pours from me. So it's very beneficial, and oh, I fucking love it. I can't wait to see him tonight. Anywho, so I've been singing and dancing to try and get myself in the mood to chat, and it just does it for me every time. This sort of frequency that is emitted in these moments of freedom or surrender or fuck knows what it is, just being in the moment, isn't it? And just feeling the energy and letting it express through your mouth or your hands or your movements or your art or whatever. So it's been lovely. And I was thinking back to it's been exactly a year since I had this night in March. I always call it the night in March, but it's March now, so I can't call it that anymore. Where there was a flash of green in the bedroom. I was fighting for my life in other realms, you know, my consciousness was struggling elsewhere. Thrashing around in the bed, bright green light, and then this crystal materialised out of thin air, huge one with, you know, a million different faces on it, like the crystal maze thing, translucent but there. Faces of the shape, not faces. That would have been extra trippy, wouldn't it? Little faces on it. But so yeah, and hovered over my bed for a few seconds, and then just disappeared, just evaporated, dissipated, and whoa! It was like the most paranormal night of a sober existence ever. So things took a different change since that night, and I had these downloads, like I said before, you know, about the rhesus negative blood and about missions and DNA upgrades, and I'd never heard any of this before. I was miserably mainstream, and so, you know, things changed trajectory and sped up because of that, and continue to do so. But what I'm feeling now in the sort of energies within me anyway, is again the amping up of frequencies and levels of awareness, veils dropping or consciousness connecting to higher realms. And I start to see it everywhere, and so synchronicities increase. Like the other day, for example, was super fucking trippy. Not yesterday, the day before. Between me and my little boy, it was very bizarre, and it unnerved me a bit, but then I got into it and I started playing with it. But so a couple of things that happened that day. First thing in the morning, I'm asking him what's happened to the next door neighbour's rabbit, because I wanted to know. I just wanted to know, where's the rabbit? Is it still in the kitchen? And my little boy says, I think it's died. And I'm like, oh, you know, that's a bit sad, but end of. Anyway, after school, the little girl comes over crying because her rabbit had just died that day, and her mum and dad had come home from work and buried it in the garden. And I was like, whoa, oof, you know, that's trippy. It's a big coincidence. And the whole day sort of continued like that, with the awareness of deja vu, or every single time looking at a clock or a whatever, there'd be a number pattern that I've seen many times before, and things that I was thinking were things that people were talking about. And then before bed, my little boy says, I was literally just sat, and they looked really tired, and then I remembered that I'd not brushed the teeth, and I was like, oh bollocks, I've got to brush the teeth now before they fall asleep. And my little boy says, just sticks his head up and says, yeah, I know you've got to brush our teeth. And I'm like, how did you know I said I was thinking that? And he's just like, and you know, it's incredible. I try and hone these like intuitions within the kids as well. I like to play with it and do little things, you know, like I'm thinking of a number between 1 and 4, what is it and whatnot, because I don't think it's special to be psychic. I think this is our God-given right, and that we used to be telepathic, and we do have these abilities, and consciousness does travel. Obviously, you know, that's what happens when we dream, or in my opinion when we die. But when we're around people just everywhere, the consciousness is moving through the ether somehow, and one day science probably will be able to tell us with some sort of model what it is and how it happens, but you know, I've got my own little dream about what it is that happens, but it's a thing. And another thing that day, my phone bleeped, and as I read the word Tobias, it was a Tobias Lars live video that was a notification on my phone for YouTube, and it went ding dong or whatever. I picked it up, I read Tobias, and as I was reading Tobias, my little boy says in the background, and he's in the other room, he says, Tobias. And I'm like, what the fuck? So I said, what do you mean Tobias? Who's that? How do you know that name? Never heard it before. And he's like, that's what I'm calling this lizard, this toy that he'd got. But we'd been calling it Luke the lizard for like a few weeks. So I just thought it was really weird that at that moment that I read Tobias, he changed the name of the lizard to Tobias. It was fucking weird. But anyway, yeah, and dreams. The last couple of days, the sort of what I've taken away from my dreams is that during the dreams, I'm trying to get the other participants, the other people in my dreams, although I'm not always clear who they are, but I want them to know that I know it's a dream. I'm sort of urgently attempting to communicate my awareness of the dream state in the dream. It's a bit bizarre, you know, a bit hard to explain. But anyway, yeah, so again, trippy, heavy energies that really remind me of this time last year where I really started to experience sober, altered states, awarenesses of more what people would describe as 5D awareness. And I felt like, you know, after this pretty scary night in March, it was the start of me unlocking my heart or my soul cage or whatever, and I was able to start receiving and experiencing more positive interpretations of consciousness. I started to find the beauty in everything again in life. Like, I was obsessed with looking at the sky. The clouds looked different but beautiful and amazing, and you know, I'm noticing the changes. And last year in March, I was noticing the patterns of the birds and the bees and the butterflies and even the insects, and you know, just I was noticing things that I'd not observed or studied for a long time, and I feel like there's some correlation with the sun, and I'm expecting this summer to be super fucking heightened like it was last year. I just remember, and I started doing my videos in June, so I'd had March, April, May, June, you know, maybe 3 months of sorting out my own shit before I started to do videos, although looking back now I'm still cringing. I'm like, fuck, look where you were at, you wreck. But I leave them up because my ego knows better than to, you know, delete what I was feeling at a certain time. It's all valid, so, you know, whatever, I'll have to get over the cringe. But yeah, my perceptions, my awarenesses, everything shifted. Everything felt beautiful, but very sort of my awareness of my avatar became very prominent, and I did sort of feel like everything was a hologram, everything was a projection, a set somehow, and I was aware of my potential as a player within the game. I know these words sound weird, and I don't particularly believe in simulation theory. I'm not really, it doesn't resonate with me. I think it's, for me, it's something completely different. I feel like what's happening to me and what seems to be happening to a lot of people, like I always say, I think it's a mixture of everything and there's many roots into it, but the sort of best that my internal can sit with the external is that there's some weather changes, there's some solar system changes, star changes, who knows. I'm not big into any of this, not that I disregard it, I resonate with it, I've just never studied it or anything, but you know, I just feel like there's more natural causes for mass awakenings of consciousness, Earth's resonance cycles, you know, who knows. But it feels like it increases with the summer months, and it definitely did for me last year. Last year was incredible, but like I said, really trippy in terms of much more awareness and senses being switched on. So, you know, I'm sort of expecting this summer to be like that again. And I remember there was hardly any rain for weeks, and I saw a lot of strange things in the sky over the summer. But yeah, no, this last year, obviously, my life's changed so much, and I've done so much internal healing, and I'm really grateful for the experience. But it continues in these cycles. It doesn't, you know, it doesn't seem to stop until, I don't know when it stops, you know. I think we're all at different stages in our soul's evolution, in our game, so, you know, whatever. But, yeah, no, it's just sort of reminiscing on this whole year, really, and feeling the similar ramping up of energy and frequency, and, you know, just sort of thinking that maybe that has something to do with the sun. And I don't know. I know that I feel better in the sun. I really enjoy the sun. I like to look at the sun. I couldn't do that over the summer because it was so white and ridiculous, and, you know, it felt and looked way different to how I'd perceived it before. But again, I'd had these sort of feelings since noticing all these changes in the sky, that what the question that I had to myself over and over again was, you know, is this different? Like, surely everyone remembers the sun used to be yellow and now it's white. Or is this just my perception of it, and the clouds and the colours and everything like that? I couldn't understand why nobody else thought it was weird. And so I had to think to myself, well, you know, maybe I'm perceiving things in a way that some others can't. Maybe my visual acuity has changed or whatever, you know, you never know. But I do feel like more hope when it's summer, and when, you know, I don't like red hot, but the sun helps growth, I think. So anyway, MJ on a video this morning, like I said, it was brilliant, and I'm going to put it down below. Please watch it, because it really helps me to listen to people who interpret things on the same level, and it's really good for me to listen to, especially women's perspectives on the interpretation of energy and consciousness, and how they move it through their bodies, and how that in turn heals their insides. And she spoke about empaths, and something that rang out as she was sort of in the flow was feeling the biofeedback of things. So either yourself or your external energies, or even of another, you know, feeling the biofeedback of somebody else's ego and sort of being affected by it. And what we're doing is we're separating and identifying, you know, what is ours and what is not as empaths, you know. And it's all about energy work, isn't it? It's just hard not to sound airy fairy flouncy when you're trying to interpret what you mean by all this stuff. So another lady that I listened to, I found yesterday, her channel's called Glow 13, GLO 13. Another just seems to be an incredible lady that I resonate with, and she's explaining the symptoms and how she's dealing with energy shifts, and just her perspective on reality. She's done a few videos on the Mandela effect and things like that, but you can just tell she's a wise lady. And when I listened, it was like, you know, like that's the auntie who's talking sense. So I'll put her video down below as well if anybody's interested. Really likeable sort of character. And I'm going to put Levette's video down beneath as well, her last one about the choice. And I think these are all relevant because we're all feeling these changes, and we can be honest about our experience, or we can dress them up as something else. Or like me, sometimes I don't even like to involve the external. I'm like, no, it's all, I'm creating everything. But at the same time, you can't not notice that so many people are experiencing the same thing. So for me, it's just, sharing's caring. It's talk about what's helped you, because it might help somebody else. So 3 years ago, before I had psychedelics, I was a silent sufferer, filled with rage and despair, and I was just not sort of amused nor sort of entertained by anything. I was completely fucking miserable, really, and depressed, and I felt I had the weight of the world on my shoulders. I couldn't appreciate what I'd got, because I felt like it was too burdensome in terms of the responsibility of being a mum. I didn't feel until, and it carries on growing and growing and growing, but the sort of appreciation of the present moment is something that I've been healing myself to be able to sit in for 3 years. And what happened to me, my mum and dad are sort of, I wanted to say raging alcoholics then, but that's probably a bit harsh, they're functional but everyday drinkers. Makes me laugh as well, because they think that cannabis is like the devil. They think, like I'll say to my mum, oh mum, when she's done something stupid, when she's had too much to fucking drink again, and I'm like, just swap the booze for a little bit of weed, and she's like, oh Maz, it makes you bloody paranoid, and I'm like, yeah, you don't get it. But anyway, this is what I wanted to do this time last year, when I was awakening to so much more and healing so much more, and I thought I could heal everybody and help everybody, and it's something that I've had to let go of, this sort of need for me to heal others, to push my opinions and perspectives onto others and say, this is what you need, or try this, because I wanted to help everybody with what helped with me. So anyway, swapping booze for weed definitely helped me. And the effect that a little bit of it has on my body is it's amazing to me how the dense energies or the anxiety can be transmuted with cannabis. So obviously sparingly, and don't become a fucking loser on it, but that has been really great for my self-development and opened me up to much more introspective thoughts and perspectives, which has helped me. But psychedelics were just incredible tools, and I'd done a lot of internal, I feel like my whole life's been internal work, but the ramping up of internal work was as soon as I had kids. So it was prior to me having psychedelics, and I researched psychedelics for a long time before I even tried them, made sure my mind was strong and I wasn't afraid of anything. And I've never had a bad trip, and I've had DMT 3 times, mushrooms twice, and MDMA a few times, and I've taken them really sparingly and responsibly, and I've worked myself through the trips. I trip-sitted myself, I wrote things down during them, I spent weeks processing it, and I feel like I really sort of understood how the different compounds help different barriers or programs in our brains, and how to reprogram the brain, reroute the neural pathways, let go of the shit. It's all connected. So I'm really excited in all of this, the lessons that I've learned throughout my life, things that I remember and learn the lesson from now, from a different observer's perspective. I'm grabbing onto, and I'm learning, and I'm like, wow, right, okay, no wonder that was like that, and why I wanted to do that, why I learned that, why I met such and such, blah, 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 whatever. It's all sort of laid out for me to, the life review is laid out for me to sift through and to learn lessons and to help my future from that. But like MJ and a few others were resonating with on her chat this morning, it was never fearful for me. She told this great chat about her ayahuasca ceremony, and I was fucking laughing out loud as I was listening to this. She's saying that as people were purging and experiencing ego deaths around her, she was sort of coming into her own and singing this song. And it reminded me of the first time I had magic mushrooms, and it was like coming home. It was like da-da, you know, and I was at ease. I was in a magical realm where I had magical powers. I felt like Sabrina the Teenage Witch. Everything was hilarious and beautiful and colourful, and I could see the complexity and intricacy of everything, yet the illusionary ridiculousness of it all, you know, and it's difficult to explain, isn't it? But it was incredible. And I think when you've spent your life being what's described as an empath, or interpreting and having to deal with energies from everywhere, from self, from others, from external, and you know, you spend your whole life subtly doing energy work, and you know, especially since you awaken, you try and manipulate this energy in a much better way. So yeah, psychedelics are incredible, and incredible tools to be used responsibly, plant medicines, and it's personal and different for everybody. But when these are integrated into mental health settings and understood much more in terms of everything connecting, childhood trauma, psychedelics as tools to heal from, consciousness and how consciousness travels, you know, everything. The world will be a better place, but we're at that judgy fucking stage where it's still taboo or propaganda that these things are killers. So anyhow, so yeah, no, I've been thinking about a lot of that. That sort of stuff. I've got so much I want to talk about, but I see I've been talking for too long already. Yeah. And I don't know if I even want to talk about this. I was going to talk about sort of drama with the flat earth shit at the minute, but I don't know if I can be bothered, you know. I've not got a leg in the race really with that. It just seems ridiculous, certain things, you know. I watched the Logan Paul documentary, and some people are so offended by it, and I'm like, how could you not see that was going to happen? Like, anyone can spin anything any way they want, anyone can perceive anything any way they want, and, you know, you only have to sort of, yeah, whatever. But at the same time, you know, I watched it and I found it funny. I wasn't like, oh, what a twat for doing that. It's like, you know, he's taken what he could. Everyone's at their own level of consciousness. And he's turned it into what he's created, you know, what he wanted. So no one can blame him, really. And, you know, just all this crap about disinfo agents, this, that and the other. And again, for me, it's just like, everyone's at their own level of understanding everything, and so just because someone speaks out on something don't mean they're authority on it, you know. It's like these sort of leaders of flat earth, you know, most of them, they don't resonate with me. People that resonate with me talk about things on a different level, and there's loads of smart, intelligent people that are mulling around all these sort of strange theories and have brilliant personal interpretations on the phenomena that we're experiencing, which is just expanded consciousness. And like I said, you know, everything's subjective, internal interpretation of energy and frequency, so we can't blame anyone but ourselves. We're only responsible for ourselves, our auras, and if you're feeling shit, I've felt these waves. I do feel these waves, and for me, it's like the fight or flight, the fear, the vigilance, the anxiety is in you. All of a sudden, it's in you for a while, and you don't know why, because nothing has happened to put you in that position of trepidation, you know. And you sort of have to ground yourself and move through them, and sometimes you can't sleep, and you know, sometimes it just doesn't make sense. But for me, again, the thing that always lets go is turn the music up, smile, and just fucking let go of it, be in the moment, and just, you know, fuck it, fuck everything that's going on, all the thought bubbles and all the potentialities of XYZ, just whatever. So anyway, I feel like in a good place, and I know it's a journey of ups and downs, so I'm not going to get too smug again, but I feel like I'm honing and gaining control of my conscious awareness much more again, and I feel like my life review I'm continuing to delve back into to help myself, for the future. So yeah, I'm expecting things to get even trippier in the external world and people's realities and thoughts, and just how things will go. I feel like there will be an unraveling of whatever, but it's like the only thing that matters to me is how I can be present in my body and how my energy can affect my kids predominantly. Like when I think about all my external interests and how I want to try and sort of weave that into a career, it's exciting and it fills me with, mission and purpose, and like, I want to do this, that and the other, and life's exciting. But my purpose on this life in this incarnation is to learn these lessons as quickly as I can, so I can be a great mum and I can be a great example, and I can help to hone and be what inside I think a mother should be for their kids. And so I don't need to be hard on myself for anything other than how I can be in the moment. I've said before, I just see and feel the real feedback of it. And I've mentioned before, I've got this Muse headband and it measures your brain waves. And when I've not used it for a while, since last year actually, I'll get it out actually if I can find it, and I'll have a go now. But when you think about something that you see, like before kids, I didn't have anything that I loved. Like I loved my mum and dad, but not in the way that I thought you were supposed to love your parents. And I guess I had some sort of shame for that, and it's all tied into the growing up with parents that are alcoholics and shit like that. We've all got our own different experiences and whatnot, but I didn't know what love is until I had my kids, and just the thought of them makes me open up and bubble up, and I could cry now just thinking about them. They're amazing. But so when I think about them, and I've got this meditation tracker on, the brainwave tracker, the birds sing, and the waves of calm that are recorded are, you can see it. You can see how your thoughts create reality in terms of what brain waves you're emitting, what frequency you're joining, what you it's completely beautiful. And I need to carry on this journey and just be tough and get through it, because I know that it's going to be freeing when I'm there, and it's all for me but for them as well. I want to change the whole suffering that is in my whole genetic code that I've passed on to my kids. I want them to change it. I want things to get better and better and better. So it's all worth it. I'm same as everyone, quite lonely. And yesterday I was thinking to myself, I had this urge to go out and socialise and do what I used to do, and then I was like, I could go on my own, or I could find somebody who would probably want to meet up with me, one of these sort of friends that dip in and out or check on me every now and then. But I just didn't want to. I'm working out how to be comfortable in my own company, and that's what this isolation part of the journey is for me. I'm not ready to integrate quite yet. Like, I definitely want to integrate with people who are on my frequency and my wavelength, and that's great that I can do it on this channel and connect with some people and hopefully meet up in person, with like-minded people one day. That would be incredibly trippy. I would be like, whoa! But for now, I'm just honing myself. I want to be a good mum. I want to be at ease in my body. I want to be able to manifest and manipulate energy in a positive way with no sort of selfish desires being the pull of that, and just the love of love, the feel of the joy. So anyway, I hope everybody has a great day, and I'm going to post those things down below, and I'm going to have a good old sing now and a spin round and that. Yeah. Sorry, I was listening to that then. Let it be. That's what I'm going to do. Oh, and it's a beautiful day today. The sky's wonderful and it's a bit warmer, and so I'm hopeful for the summer and for the increase in frequencies and levels of awareness. I'm preparing myself for these, which I think the sun brings. So, yeah, happy Sunday. Bye.